All right, Saturday morning cartoons hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here. Batman animated series is just such a tremendously great show. This week it's The Laughing Fish, the Joker Fish episode. It is so ingrained in my psyche. It's based on, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 comic books that we can kind of point to. I mean, um, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. So, this is really one of these episodes where we get to just enjoy the Batman Joker craziness for what it is. Like, I just think that it gives you everything you want out of the show, out of the series, as far as um, dynamic, right? Crazy Joker, Batman figuring things out, Batman working through things. Uh, I will say I also enjoy the fact that they do it a couple of times in the series, but they do have these moments where the show kind of leaves it open ended whether or not the Joker does survive or not, which I think is a really cool element that gets lost in some of the other things, and the show does a great job. So, no title card in this episode. Beautifully done, of course. The cinematic elements here in the beginning are just tremendous. Basically, where you have the fishermen are pulling up um, just a load of fish, and they drop them, and you have this just beautiful sort of like animation where we give, again, this is a kid show. It's so hard to kind of get our head around of how brilliant that is, but they give you a little bit of a hesitation of the shock and the horror on their face before you start to see, oh, they're looking at, a whole bunch of, what are they looking at? They're looking at a bunch of Joker fish. So, oh my gosh, they're going to puke. Joker fish. All right. So that's how it sets up. I love, and Batman says it when he's with Alfred. He drops a he drops a fish in the dissecting tray, and he's like something about dinner. So Alfred's always cutting up, and Batman just says the obvious: Joker made his move, right? Before we have our cutaway to Joker and Harley. Who, by the way, Harley gets some fun lines here. She gets some really good time, which really we haven't had enough of. Like, we do get a little bit of this um, in some other episodes, but here I think is probably one of the better episodes. We really get that dynamic a lot better, right? So they're going to go to like a public official's office, and Joker is basically, his scheme is to pretty much copyright the Joker fish. So therefore, anybody who eats any fish owes him some sort type of royalty. It almost seems like a legitimate scheme. It's so strange. Now he does spray the guy with like a laughing powder, which of course will come out to play later on with his illness and exposure to things. So really, really great. You definitely get to see the menacing Joker, which of course is just, it's just wonderful. And I don't know. So I think with Heath Ledger, we got maniacal Joker. I think with Nicholson's Joker, we have a couple of moments of maniacal Joker, evil Joker. Uh, I don't know where else we get. Like, this is a really good episode to get your head around, you know, the the evil Joker, right? And I just think it's really, 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 really done well. So, of course, Mark Hamill's fantastic. Kevin Conroy's just the goat. So, just all done really well. Putting everything together, and of course, Joker can't resist, which is always, it's always kind of funny to me. Of he can't resist, sort of like putting himself out there, baiting the Batman, taunting Gotham writ large. This one is actually done really funny because it's played for gags, right? So the henchmen are dressed up as kids, one being a girl, and of course they feed Harley some fish. She can't stand fish. So she basically is just freaking out like yuck. And she kind of pukes off screen, which is hysterical. And of course, Batman is there protecting this poor guy. But of course, the gas, a fish. Okay, that's right. So it's this flying fish goes through and releases this toxin. Now, the toxin, everyone's running for cover. Well, come to find out, of course, the Joker, being the chemistry genius that he is, it's a combination of what happened to the official earlier versus this gas. So therefore, combine them. Now he becomes, the Joker laugh and the hysterics. Batman's got his anti-toxin there, so he's ready to jump into action. But no worry, Joker's got a scheme for the next victim. right? And during that, Batman has a plan because this cat shows up with the fish, has a plan. The cat goes for who it's basically like a bait and switch. Batman's got a scheme for a bait and switch, and the cat is going to go for the owner, so therefore he gets exposed as well. So it really was really very clever. Again, kid show. Really clever to have the bait and switch, have all the complexity here. I thought this was actually really pretty fun. And I mean, I remember this episode very, very vividly, but had I not seen the episode, I'm actually very interested to see how the grandkids like this episode because this seems like one. I want to see if they pick up on that twist of surprise and what their reaction is actually going to be in their initial viewing. Now, Harvey, who, of course, he's always at odds with Batman, he knew exactly where to go to track down Joker. He puts himself in harm's way and gets taken out by Harley. So, again, fun stuff. Really enjoy all that. And, of course, then we get into and again, fun, crazy, silly shark stuff. Over the top. There's great gags about him having a crazy smile before. And this is all before Batman shows up, of course. So, into the water, Batman has to go. He's trying to save Harvey, and this is where it prevents the episode from being like one of the greatest of all time. It can be one of the more memorable ones of all time because Joker Fish is an easy thing of association. But the idea that Batman's just going to get the chains around the shark's mouth in time and ride the shark, and I actually kind of wish for some shark repellent, like callback to the 66 cartoon. Anyway, Joker can't be trusted, of course. Joker throws him in with some raw meat, which the blood, of course, will draw the shark away from Batman for a quick moment and make him the source. And of course, again, we never know where all this comes from, but we also get like crazy contraption seals up before they finally escape. Then you have sort of a Batman versus Joker showdown. And I always love the fact that there's always a vulnerability with Batman. Like we let him take a blow or two, but never to the point where he's not going to triumph. Like he basically just grabs the wrench. And Joker's got puns. Joker's got fun. It's like all of that stuff works just really, really brilliantly. And all culminates with Joker basically going over the side, not realizing the shark is there. So the illusion, of course, is that he's gone. And they have his Joker card in the water, and the shark kind of jumps out of the water and grabs it. So really, really fun episode, really memorable episode. I will say from that regard as well. So yeah, I jotted down, let me get my notes real quick. So I don't know exactly if some of you guys will disagree with me on my assessment of what Batman comic books this comes from. So there's one that Denny O'Neil did way back, 251, which is in the 70s. That one's pretty much 251 is probably one I thought of. And then, of course, there's a detective back-to-back story Joker called Sign of the Joker. So the Laughing Fish dates back to that Denny O'Neil one. Of course, Sign of the Joker kind of fits in here as well. It's definitely one of the more fun element of adaptations right out of the comic books with all sorts of different things kind of mixed together very, very well. I think it's one of Paul Dini's best scripts. I think it's just a phenomenally fun one. And it's also sort of like a fun sort of like Joker caper scheme thing, which I think we saw in Batman 89, right? With the whole cosmetics and makeup stuff, like the scheme with the fish and all that kind of really does a really, really good job. So anyway, so love your take on this. As I said earlier, if you didn't catch today's video, or if you're watching this just sometime after the fact, this will be the end of my X-Men run. I'm going to take a break from that and show in some different cartoons. Feel free to throw in some of your suggestions in the comments. Batman will carry on. I'm not even through season 1 yet. I'm probably only, I'm at 45, 46 out of 60. So, we're around 3/4. We're getting there. But season 1's pretty massive. We're at least going to get through all season 1 before I take a pause, but it's a great show. Love it so much. If you're doing any rewatches, revisiting, love to hear from you. Love your thoughts. Check out the playlist. You'll see my reactions week to week, those kinds of things. Just enjoy this so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Pops.